Hi everyone, Owen here from Luxaber, and I've got another little interesting project I'm working on stairs again. Done a few videos now on interesting things I've done, such as a bit of upcycling on the metal railings along the top, and how I've done the finish on the spindles. And I've got another little interesting idea which popped into my head yesterday, which I'm about to do. So I thought I'd show you what I'm doing, and hopefully it'll be of use to someone. Right, so this was the plain, boring staircase. It was very old, worn, battered and dirty and whatever. The last video I've done a couple of videos now. First was the metal railings I've done along the top. That was fun, bit of upcycling that was. Enjoyed that. And then I've done how I finished the upright spindles here, where I've done like a grey metallic wax on the edges. I'm super pleased how all that's come out, which left just the actual stairs themselves. Now, as I said, I got them for next to nothing, second hand, so they were quite worn, and they've been in place while I've worked on the upstairs for the last sort of couple of years. They've had everything carried up them, dropped on them, spilt on them, so they've been really battered and worn. So it was time to finally do the last bit, which is the actual staircase itself. I have done a really good sand on all the actual treads because they were really scuffed up and, like I say, had all sorts spilt on them. So they've been sanded right back, and they've now had 3 coats of a really nice hard wearing varnish. So I'm very happy with the treads. There's not much I could do with them. But it left the back parts, the risers. Now, obviously I could have sanded them and done them in the same varnish, but to be honest with you, they were really scuffed up quite bad, as you can see, because as people walk upstairs, that's the sort of bit you sort of hit with your toes. So they were really scuffed up. They're harder to sand. It's only a thin bit of wood, the risers, because it's not as structurally important as the treads. So it's not as nice a piece of wood. You haven't got as much to work with. And it would have been really hard work trying to get in there and sand. And so I had an idea. And this is why I haven't done the nice cutting in of the varnish, because I knew it was going to be hidden. So I've done all the varnish on all the treads and the edges, that's all done. And it leaves just the risers. And this idea came to me yesterday because the room they're in, I recently put brand new laminate flooring down. And I had a packet left over of the same laminate flooring, exactly 1 pack and 1 piece left over. It was a while ago now, so I couldn't really take it back to the shop. So I was wondering if I could use it. And what I've done is, just as a trial piece, I've just cut a couple of pieces and put them in on the risers. And I love it. It's super easy to do. It gives a really nice finish, just ties it in perfectly with the floor below because it is actually the exact same material and colour. And it is a really, really quick and easy job to do. Literally all I've done is taken the measurement. It just so happened, I know it's sort of by chance, it's not always going to be the case, that the boards were almost the exact width. By that I mean like the width of the boards was the height of the risers. I think I've just had to like shave off 1 or 2 millimeters off of them to make them not be too snug. I haven't quite got enough to do a solid piece on each one. I think there's 14 treads, steps, and I think there's 10 pieces in the pack, so I'm gonna have to do some joints, but it's actually no problem because the joints are obviously the factory made joints, and again it just ties it in even more with the floor below, which has got joints in it. So yeah, I'll show you a really quick and easy way I've set up of cutting them all to length without having to, because you know the measurements are identical on every step. I have checked, so I'll show you a quick, really super quick way of setting up a block on the chop saw. How I will cut them all in one go, even with the joints, and it's literally just going to take no time at all. And I'm just going to glue them in, literally. You can see there's a joint on this one, a nice tight fit. I'm literally just going to put a few dabs of glue on there, no nails, stick them in. And I just think that when you look at it sort of at eye level, just to see the laminate in between the treads is just going to look really smart. And also I think it's a really handy thing to do with stairs, even if you haven't got laminate left over like I did. I had this packet left over which I wanted to do something with, but even if you didn't, to go out and buy 1 packet of laminate flooring is really not expensive. and it's just perfect for this. It's really thin. I mean, the cheapest sort of stuff you can get is literally a few millimeters wide, so you've got more than enough room to put it in. You know, you're always going to have a bit of an overhang of the tread, so it's literally going to take up hardly any of the actual foot sort of space at all. And they're just super easy, even if they're not the right width. You know, you could always run them through a bandsaw or any sort of table saw to quickly cut them down. They're super hard wearing because obviously they're designed to be walked on with the laminate finish. So no matter how many times they get sort of kicked and stubbed with shoes and whatever, they're going to be far more hard wearing than any sort of wood finish or anything like that. And it gives you thousands of options because obviously laminate comes in all sorts of colours, modern, wood effect, actual real wood textures. You've got PVC laminate now. So yeah, I've never seen anyone do it. I've seen people, you know, I was going to paint the back of the risers sort of matte black to fit in with the rest of the room because it's actually like a black sort of cinema room, or will be when it's finished. And even that would have been a super cheap option, but it would have been a pain to sort of mask off every single edge on 14 or 15 treads and then paint it 2 coats, 3 coats. And yeah, like I say, even if I didn't have the leftover laminate, if you've got to go out and buy 1 packet of laminate flooring, I just think it's an absolute super idea. It gives you tons of options, like I say, on finishes, colours. So yeah, I've taken my measurements. I've just cut these 2 now to try. Well happy with how they look already. So I'll quickly nip over to the chop saw, show you how I quickly cut them all, and then fit them, and I'll show you the finished result. Right, so as I said, there's obviously I've got to cut sort of like 14 pieces of these. Possibly more if I change some joints and things, but yeah, just a really quick and easy way, because obviously being a factory made staircase, every tread is the exact same width. So I measured to start with, marked and cut this one, offered it up to make sure it's a perfect fit, and it is. Tried it on every step to make sure, so they're all the same. And so now I know that this piece is the perfect width. It's going to be my guide, so I've got it perfectly lined up where it would have been cut. Put it back exactly there, and then all you do is, while holding this piece firmly in place so it doesn't move, because that is now your guide, just gently push up a block of wood next to it. It can be anything, it can be a little square piece, a plank, anything, even a clamp, just a clamp, you know, and then clamp something firmly in place there. Even put a couple on there. Like I say, it could even just be the actual head of a clamp without any bit of wood, but it just happened to be there. And then now that's your guide piece. So I know that I come along with another brand new plank, because they are quite a bit longer than what I need. I gently push it up to the block, making sure it's still square on the saw. And then every time I cut one, it's going to be the perfect width with absolutely no differences at all. And it even works with the joints as well. So obviously this one had a piece cut off. This is the off cut. So what I'll do for the next one is I'll actually do the joint. You know, this stuff just clips together. I won't do it here, but you get the idea. So you will actually just do the joint first, and then slide the whole piece in, up against the block again, gently, you know, don't ram it so you end up budging it over. And then there you go, you've got the exact width again, ready to cut. And then again, this one might be enough for 1 full piece. If not, I'll add a bit on, do a joint. So yeah, it's just a really quick and easy way of doing 14 cuts or whatever it is in no time at all, without any sort of having to measure mark, pencil lines, get it off, and it doesn't fit and all that. So yeah, really quick and easy way. So I'm quickly gonna cut these. As I did say, I'm quickly running them through the bandsaw just to take a millimetre off, because they're a tiny bit too snug of a fit. So I'm just parting off the actual tongue with a bandsaw. Yeah, it's got a rough edge, but it's not going to be seen anyway. But yeah, I mean, they come in different widths, so you might not even have to do that. You might have to take 1 inch off or something, you know. But again, any saw, table saw, anything would do that. Okay, are you ready for this? Because this has come out far better than I expected. It's one of those very, very unusual jobs where you do it and it actually goes easier and quicker, and the results are better than what you expected. Trust me, that never happens. Everything always takes 10 times longer. This hasn't. It was 2 days ago now, which I finished it, because I wanted to wait till I had the room cleared up and everything put back in place, just to actually show you how and why I wanted it to match in with the flooring below. But yeah, honestly, it took me no time at all. Cannot believe the results. So. All right, so this is the room the stairs are in. As I said, this is kind of like a bit of a home theatre, cinema sort of room project, which is why everything's sort of matte black and dark and cosy. But are you ready for this? Look at that for a finished result. Honestly, I'm so pleased with how that's come out. Like I say, I've done this, it was 2 days ago I actually cut all the planks and put them on, but with that super quick way of just cutting them all to the same size, glued them on. We'll be honest, I did notice that the following day, I think I kicked one as I was going up and it actually came loose. And I'm not completely surprised because the back of the laminate planks are super shiny and plasticky. So I think the glue I used it was a general purpose, sort of like adhesive. And it just wasn't designed for something that shiny and smooth. So all I've done is just put a couple of little tacks in, like nails, just randomly, and just 2 or 3, just to stop them falling down. It was only 1, but just to stop any of them coming loose. But I mean, look at that, for a finished staircase that blends in perfectly with the flooring below. I'm so pleased with that. It's going to be super hard wearing. Couldn't have been quicker or easier to do. And yeah, I'm just so pleased with that. It just looks fantastic. Now they're all in place. I'm actually glad I had to make joints because I was hoping originally to have a solid piece on every single tread. But I'm actually glad I've had to do joints now because the rest of the floor's got joints in it. So it just blends in perfectly and breaks it all up. So yeah, I'm well pleased with it. One thing I haven't mentioned is the LEDs going up the side of the stairs. They're just a bog standard 12 volt LED. They're actually the RGB ones, so they can be changed to any colour with remote control. And super simple. It's just literally, I've just taped them on to the bottom side of the riser there. It's just about enough wood to, and I've just taped on straight away. And I've got a little power supply, and the controller box is underneath the stairs behind that top sort of tread there. But yeah, I might cover that in another video, and also the rest of the cinema room, because there's a few little bits I've done in there which I'm super pleased with, because I've achieved a brilliant room which I love, and again, it's been on a super budget. But yeah, I mean, back to the stairs, I couldn't be happier with this. You know, to come so quickly from, and cheaply, from what was just a bog standard boring old staircase, wasn't even new, second hand. And you know, a combination of where I've added that sort of wax to finish off nicely the risers and the handrail, and then the laminate treads. You got the LEDs been varnished nicely, and then I've got this upcycled metal railing which I've put along the top and incorporated a bit of wood and the old metal there. That's in another video, so I'll put a link in below to how I've done this railing system, because again, it literally cost me next to nothing. And if I had to go out and buy a matching banister rail, it would have, I looked into it, it's going to cost hundreds. I couldn't believe how expensive it was. So yeah, I just wanted to wait a couple of days because now everything's sort of clean now, the room's tidied up and everything's back into place. I've done a couple of finishing touches on the wall, liquor paint actually and all that. So that was all done yesterday. And yeah, I really could not be happier with how these have come out. So yeah, I know I always say this, but your situation might not be exactly the same. You might not have a packet of laminate flooring left over or something. It might not be the right size, the same, but surely it can be adapted. Like I say, even if you didn't have the money to go out and buy 1 pack of laminate flooring, which wouldn't be expensive at all, have a look on Marketplace and places. How many people do you know that would do a laminate flooring project and have a packet left over, or 2 or 3 packets left over, which they'll give away or sell for next to nothing? You know, it just gives an option for a cool, super easy project for minimal cost, hard wearing, and yeah, super easy. Anyone can do that. All you need is a saw, and you know, borrow one if you haven't got one. So yeah, I'm well pleased with how that looks. Fits in brilliantly with the room and all that. So yeah, super chuffed. Like I say, one of those very, very rare projects that actually goes quicker and easier than expected, because that just doesn't happen. So yeah, couldn't be happier. And yeah, hopefully help someone else and give you an idea. But as always, thank you very much for watching. I've been Owen from Luxsaber, Please like, follow, subscribe for future videos and other money saving tips and projects and stuff. I'm always up to something a little bit different. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.